deck. Na yese kwa A+ Ghana for Nafi. And miseducation.
Community idea bi ase. Matete say nkrofo say Mahama person Pam Chief Justice. Say na be ya obekọ for a third term. Me pa cho. Sa de ye de mra na ye de.
And look what they say government communication minister for communication honorable Felix Kwachofo so they better just no kribia sa.
Onokra wan kan ye. Kwachofo so wan kan ye.
Adenan ke so kan say.
John Mahama betumi seek for billion terms. Ayemra Ghana constitution e wodi ya media ye nyina betumi constitution no ye say wo pese wo sesa bibi wo mu afa kɔ ha emra na ye tro ye no ye say justice soa ne to for verse attorney general ne judgment no otro wo mu say constitution no enye just text to say ne da he dan you are why
hello me dem say honorable kan wasem me
first year kan wasem a living organism capable of growth. Into no constitution, no, it will say any, and yes, I try to one and one. No. So if the president thinks that the term limit, no, M1 Ghana, obey to meet the constitution now call parliament. Say parliament, me feel say Ghana no, I will say a term limit free. So udi 100 terms Ghana conform some power. Also what transnational development. I am right that ho, and yet your mama is share some run.
But for now, dear,
for now, no, your mama on make us as about me per se. I didn't go be a trim say. Nya ye de say John Mahama petete omu ya lawyer for omu nim nya mraneka emrane say John Mahama feel so person otena so biemu a on famra parliament obo ba beto yen wo ho yen ne ebehwe ade no aka say okay emrane ampa ya change mrane yen say wudi
yifrim na yifrim ne ya Kwame plus o kan nyina muni amo yawe obi yen kan sisu bia say de menu plus kan yes, it is true, sir. Constitution of Ghana. Cool. Now, then, if article 1-2, that is supremacy of the Constitution. Who read the Constitution of the Republic? Or say this Constitution shall be the supreme law of Ghana, and any other law found to be inconsistent shall, to the extent of its inconsistency, be void. That is the article 1-2. Or say this is the supreme law of Ghana. So, Samrana must conform with the provisions of this Constitution. If any constitution, say no constitution if to the extent of any it shall be void. Again, offer constitution, and I'm saying you free baby nearby. Na yedi ye history. So Dani project say me wonsa Kwame Ekoti justice soa ne famous quote wa o make here in the case of a year 24 versus attorney general o make quote famra or say a written constitution such as ours is not an ordinary act of parliament. Dani position here, let me read my Ghana for position here. Or say a written constitution such as ours is not an ordinary act of parliament. It embodies the will of the people. It also mirrors their history. So the constitution it mirrors the history of this country. History is saying Emrebi Bedri Kwame Nkrumah declared a president for life. He declared Ghana one party state. And on the Namsuma Ku ni ade bebre bae. So the constitution trying to solve that issue. And Omodia Shemu say you shall have a term of presidency 4 years for 2 terms. And the Kwame Plus Sabe Kase, John Mahama betime the Mraba, near ya pass it, no wako, no ayeweya. It means you are not taking into account the history of this nation. When Kwame Nkrumah declared one party state and president for life. So John Mahama, yes sir, constitution is not looking at him. It's you. It also mirrors the history account. Therefore needs to be taken of it as a landmark in the people's search for progress. So for your history, your constitution here, you need to look at the constitution as a landmark. Say your direction for the progress. And baby you free bano. Yes, say be Jimmy Fona so free baby but osako ho wa bra woku. Enti edua anansidi wu ye no. Enti kuma ntenase entonko. So Kwame Plus beka say, your mama betimi a edete mra no. You obe amende mra. Na watena so a. Ye free baby ne ya ba ye hunu bi pen. And justice so ayi ne bra. Fire. Now we it contains within it their aspirations and their hopes for the better and fuller life. So constitution it is not just a constitution. It contains the people's aspirations for better life. Now the framers of the constitution omunim baby aye free ba say yenya 1960 constitution 1969 constitution 79 constitution 1992 and yemani bebre wo ho a we've amended them precisely ya yen sakraye wo mu etu fa article 21 a edru baby Kwame Nkrumah fa aye real koto, that is ba force akoto ne aye David Ankwane ade mu koto no na ye ni bibia under the constitution a multimede aye obi court for actor a breaching a part of the constitution. It's Yababedu in the article 21. Says enei obia yamra obia ye bibi na say a breaching any part of the constitution. Obetimi akọ under article 21 and 130 of the constitution, which gives power to the Supreme Court. So obe make a declaration to that effect. So first of all, and then the constitution ma ho kwan ma timi ko ekoko sikise o ebi adwomama ye bibi na ye unconstitutional. Now framers of the constitution omo pese omo so be mischief of o chena obi nsore enye de wo kwam ye plus oye no ye fra bibi eye basic structure doctrine. The doctrine of basic structure. Because Justice Sowa say the constitution contains the history of the people, you know. Say even obey amend the constitution and you be na bet me amend it because of the basic structure. That's a basic structure doctrine. There is a case in you can say 1973 in India. Your friend Kasan Navadando said there versus state of Bharati. Now omo basic structure almost say constitutional certain part of the constitution you cannot touch it because the spine the bone of the constitution it's that means you've overthrown the constitution to come in with another one. So the basic structure there is a case of David Indi versus a Attorney General in Kenya. Tell Kenya 4 years on constitution constitution. The Kenyan Supreme Court declares so bet me amendia because of the basic structure doctrine you cannot touch certain provisions in the constitution. Now your framers of the constitution among person watching a benya se be na adwene nye no say menya a majority in parliament it's one wo ye ni ade no Yanko Article 66. Now Yanko Hedie Eka. Now Article 66 of the Constitution and what chapter 8 of the Constitution. Chapter 8 in the head and the executive. So anything that is said under chapter 8, now Article 66 to a person shall not be elected to hold office of Ghana for more than 2 terms. Back Article 66(1). 66(1) when you read here. Then 66(1). So and I'm saying the framers or say a person elected as president shall, subject to clause 1 of this article, hold office for a term of 4 years, beginning from the date on which he is sworn in as president. So Article 66(1) say you to abamount say be president. Obetimi aye president for just 4 years, which is a term. Oko 66(2). You read 66(2). 66(2) say you can only be a president for saya to Obama 4 years and only 2 terms. So 66(2) say a person shall not be elected to hold office as president of Ghana for more than 2 terms. Edientia yempe Kwame Nkrumah when declare no state you can say president for life. It's watching Kwame plus say John Mahama betime de ayina ba no declare no say David yempe sa ye history nti yempe biokrati. You feel baby nearby. You pay no money shame no. Now omudi shame we no. And omo say betimi anya bodam ni bi oba president. No watching us make declare me home president for life. It's constitution omo chemu mienu. You feel be entrenched provisions and then non-entrenched provisions. Entrenched provisions in here day. Or say yes, almost a parliament under Article 290. And what the amendment powers of a year the Supreme so betimi amende. And some person mo amend any part of the constitution. Omum pass mra amende. Etu for constitution the kanya. Over here the 527th Act of Parliament of the Republic of Ghana entitled the Constitution. So a act and a passed constitution and some amendment. Eti Osha Article 8. Article 8 first said na everyday. It is no longer the same here. Eti ya the act we and a amended Article 8. So baby no say Article 8 of Constitution is repealed and the following is inserted. It is a read Article 8. Also who say ya repeal and ya amended with this. Come and read this one. Okay. Now you need say Parliament will to me so to me amend. Nemo mu yempɛ de kwa me ye plus e ka no. Eti yenko Article 290. Ni yenko hwa de.
Educates them.
Entrenched provisions, non-entrenched. And a constitution is saying, the onion non-entrenched, and no, dear, what the call parliament, bet me are amended.
Precisely.
They or the roadblocks be to home. Said the Abaya, who person one mended the entrenched provisions, Obebre, Chenio. So, yeah, is the one because your mama bet me the Maraba parliament, they are amended, and you're correct. Anyano correct. Now Danny zoom in na menchira Ghana for there. Zoom in. I say okay, so Danny what about clause 4? Let's go to clause 1. 290 clause 1. Let's go to 290 clause 1. Let's read the clause 1, clause 2, clause 3.
Precisely.
Now 290 is going to show us the processes are open so amending entrenched provisions. And the constitution was entrenched provisions, you know. The whole of chapter 8. So Osha Article 290 will say amendment of entrenched provisions. Now that Danny Fameko Article 1. Good. Zoom in. Or say this article applies to amendment of the following provisions of the Constitution, which are in the Constitution. Okay, so then refer to as entrenched provisions. It's provisions here. Your friend of entrenched provisions. And don't mean Tamu and Fanko Parliament keke. Now, Osha was say, hey. The Constitution, Article 1, 2, and 3. Yentia or person Article 1, 2, and 3 Gina ho. No obient me for the sanka anyhow. It's because Article 1 and I care about the supremacy of the Constitution. It's Yamakwam will be amended noa. That means obet me yen semunubia. Article 2.1 and also the Supreme Court the power to make declarations when obey the assembly. It's Yamakwam will amended anyhow best say. Article 3. I think the territorial citizens or territorial. Let me go to Article 3. Now, already Article was say, Danny, don't zoom back. Now, I see the following. Okay, a clause 1F. Or see the executive. It's Danny for second page in the Tuso. Or see the executive, the whole chapter 8. So, me know Kasaofa Constitution. The whole chapter 8. Bibi account will be an entrenched provision. The term limits of the president, who qualifies to be president, who can stand for president. Ninyina wanda chapter 8.
Exactly.
The presidential powers. So then be koko to me fanen koko. Ninyina wanda chapter 8. Ana 290 say chapter 8 ninyina ye entrenched provisions.
Exactly.
It's yafe yam kwahwe kwan ye fa so. Amend this up as also sign and train provision. So it's not easy to say Kwame Beka say wait me the maraba and you better near pass. Kwame Janse munu and himself said that this answer me. You know the law. So you know your mama cannot wake up and say maybe say me the to parliament. Now you share how or say if you want to amend a year entrenched provisions, Article 290 has provided or see the other kind. Says speaker no. Onya bo eba no kura so mpeso mo amende and mostly some mo ba amende mra. E ya attorney general and the free executive ne ba. Na afi processes na koso. Eti article 106 actually the processes will be go through with a year wo person pass mra. Nemo me kodu entrenched provision. Or say even speaker no ya na adwene. Na obosu kim ba ko e wo parliament wa. As we refer Marano, or say a bill for an amendment of an entrenched provision shall before Parliament proceeds. It's before the Parliament be na going to kwaso or kwakwa Marano. Cheniyo. Or say before Parliament proceeds to consider it. Before such as your mama no kwa be na just what Parliament. Or say it shall be referred to the by the speaker to the Council of State for its advice, and Council of State shall render a year advice. The bill Okay, before the bill will be written. So before say speaker crab say speaker refer a bill no. Yes, I didn't know person amend when change no. It's chapter 8, article 66. Say speaker the comma council of state for. Na council of state for him. Now young Danny connects near council of state for him we are. At the end so Messiah. Or say council of state for him we are. Yes, or say the bill shall be published in the gazette. You can gazette agobi. Say uko Saudia. The publishing or gazette. It's a moya margin some article 66 now. Or say the bill shall be gazetted for 6 months. Or say shall not be introduced into parliament until expiry of 6 months. I don't know yet they two or shedder. Constitution the roadblocks be two. Some woman in 6 months. Because you see a say nipa na dia wo ye no. One gini wo ye pa. Tiema bre. So until 6 months. Now say expire under clause 3 we are. Yankon ready e sa ka kire o. O say wonya ye we are. Afi kura no or say after the bill has been read the first time, after the parliament speaker, a boss 1, 2, 3 Kim. Or say after the bill has been read in parliament, it shall not be proceeded with further. Or say ready ya parliamentarians and Mobia Fanasanka. Or say it shall be submitted to a referendum. You can referendum. Mo family Ghana phone. Mo family Ghana phone. If some person Ghana phone will choose say Empire person your mama etna so that ye knew but say it shall be subjected to a referendum now throughout the whole Ghana and your referendum ketua bi eti wo hwe eye na no na eye nuan mo wo vote ani ade ka say emere bi wo mpeso mo te wo ho nya de eno mo ayi plebiscite ye call referendum ye city regency bi akeka ho ye call referendum na no call referendum because eye regency ti the area na affect no ana wo mo no be to aba. But this one, it affects the whole country. So the constitution is saying that you must subject it to a referendum.
Precisely.
For the man for now, for young kind to us, Article 290, young kind to us. Also, they call referendum. 40% of all people eligible to vote. Omo to abe ye senka me no ka say you be 17 million people na to aba nyemwa Ghana. So 40% of 17 million people must turn out. It is a nipa be ba to aba no. Omo ndu 40% of 17 million or 15 million wunya referendum no. Now already a clause 4 na 90 clause 4 no. Was say say nipa 40% be to 75% of the koforum be to aba no. Eso omo ka say an ye pese yes your mama transfer. Now your mama be 75%.
More fire. Bisebio.
More fire. More fire. It's okay clause 4. I say and at least 40% of the persons entitled to vote voted at a referendum. And at least 75% of the persons who voted cast their votes in favor of the person. It's 40% of the people to come and vote. It's 75% of those people. Yes, and where you framers of the constitution, Call tetem na fa hin ko si ye ni so ye ni so oni wo kwan abama okuro ni mo go bi right no Kwame Nkrumah no obema check your mama bibiri Kwame Nkrumah no obema check your mama bibiri ono call try say was subverting the will of the people omutu no
more fire more fire
what's some man for no yi ni ade agobi when people feel oppressed at any given point they are left with no option than to rise up.
Precisely so.
And why yes the people who feel frustrated when your mama memu papa ben go over former yi ni ade as ye President Gufokura is not constitution and transfer. Not your mama. Etimon Konkoda or try so best subverting the will of the people. We will go after him. And constitution, Emma Yakwan said, Obia or bet tries to overthrow the constitution. We should use any means possible to reinstate the constitution. It is a job, Mama Yana going to overthrow the constitution. We will use every overthrow. Yes, yes, we overthrow him. We overthrow him and we will reinstate this constitution. Sɛ John Mahama yɛ n'adwene sɛ ɔbɛ amend the constitution wei a amfa mmara kwan mu na so ɔyɛ n'adwene sɛ ɔbɛtena so a we will overthrow him yɛbɛtu n'aba yɛ gu I'm telling you no and constitution na man pai sɛ wɔsɛ sɛ obi yɛ n'adwene sɛ ɔbɛyɛ wei a ɛneɛ use any means necessary wankyerɛ edua na abɛtumi afa hwe nipa ntirim ɛsi yɛ ma kwan na yɛnkɔ article 3 ne yɛnkɔ ready na ɔmo nka sɛ Katakyie Afrifa na ahyɛ da no wɔyɛ okay, Article 3.4. All citizens of Ghana shall have the right and duty at all times to defend this constitution and in particular to resist any person or group of persons seeking to commit any of the acts referred to in clause 3 of this article and B to do all in their power to restore this constitution after it has been suspended, overthrown or abrogated as referred to in clause 3 of this article. So constitution is said so John Mahama yɛ n'adwene so obɛyɛ bibia tia constitution we should overthrow him yɛbɛ use any means why ɛdɛ nyɛ na bɛka obi a mɛma okuro nim odimi nyahwɛ odini die wi a your excellency thank you very much we shall see you another time bye bye akufo adu wie a wakɔ akɔtena se oso wie a na wakɔtena se din na Ghana fo awie obi ɛnyɛ nkwa ne nyansa wo me so bu a mɛmo ma Ghana yɛ sɛ America Ghana yɛ sɛ still I would do we na no ade ayado ase no pa bia tena what do you eat a wie